In the few short years that I have been stumbling around the English language, I have discovered that many of the words that have been handed down to us have lost a great deal of their original significance. For example, inspiration. In the 16th century, it was apparently a medical term. Inspire, which was very similar to our word inhale, meant breathing into or drawing air into the lungs. But 2 centuries earlier, the term had a much more narrow usage. It referred distinctly to the influence of divinity upon the human soul. To be inspired or to claim inspiration was something very sacred. It conveyed the idea that divinity itself had brushed against your own soul and left its impression upon you. But as words often go, much of that original weight has been shed over the years, and nowadays we use the term much more loosely. Whatever the case may be, it would do us well to pause for a moment and contemplate this lofty ideal of inspiration. A few days ago, I was working on a project in my backyard, and it was one of those types of projects that just sort of seems to suck the life right out of your soul. I think you know what I mean. It was very dull work. But right in the middle of my work, I looked down at my growing pile of scraps and an idea hit me. A way in which I could redeem some of those scraps. Call it inspiration if you like, or don't. It matters very little to me. But I've learned this: when your mind gulps freely of the clean air of inspiration, well, you should consciously inhale it. Breathe it in while you can. Follow the inspiration. Now, to be fair, I should preface this by saying that I can only speak from my own experience here. Nevertheless, I've discovered that even though there are occasions like this when inspiration strikes in apparently random moments, there are also certain things that I can do to put myself in a better posture to actually be inspired. To speak in metaphor, even though I can't plant the seeds of inspiration, I can certainly prep the soil. And in my own experience, more often than not, my most inspiring moments are brought about by the natural world that I inhabit. For example, a rigorous hike or a walk through the forest seems to unshackle my mind. Interestingly, the smell of spruce trees always seems to awaken something deep inside of me, or the call of a barred owl, or just simply getting eye to eye with a gnarled old mountain. A flowing creek, the warmth of sun upon the skin, a wild and desolate landscape. It's a fairly long list. Of course, I could go on and on, but I won't bother. Not today. A good friend of mine who knows much more of the corporate world than I do once put it like this. He said, "I need something to bring me back in touch with the physical world. Sitting at a desk in a windowless room all day, it's easy to lose sight of the actual physical space we inhabit." Well said. There's a great deal of distance between a windowless room and a wild and lonely landscape. And there is an equally great deal of distance between being inspired and not being inspired. But enough of me for now. Let me inquire into your own existence. When was the last time you felt inspired? When was the last time you felt the quickening of your own heartbeat in anticipation of what might be? Where were you when it happened? What were you doing? Who were you with? And maybe by asking these questions, maybe, just maybe, you can start to find your way back to that elusive phenomenon we have come to know as being inspired. I'll leave you with these words. Inspiration is not a thing to be controlled or conjured up at your own impulses. We generally never know when or where it'll turn up, and all we can do is try to be ready when it does. It may be today or it may be tomorrow. It may be this mountain or maybe the next. In the end, what matters most is that we keep our laces securely tied. And when those clean, crisp winds of inspiration blow again, well, we shall inhale deeply and be ready for whatever it is that lies before us.